Hello, mathematicians. Welcome to another math lesson with me, Miss Taylor. I'm glad you're here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see if we're ready for math. Do we have our fact practice packet? Got mine right here. Do we have our textbook? Here's my textbook. Check. Do we have our workbook? Workbook. And paper, pencil. You might want your whiteboard and a whiteboard marker. There's mine. All right, so if we have all those things, we are ready to get started. So the first thing we always do is we do our fact practice packet. We get warmed up, warm up our brains and get into our math mode. And so today we are looking at page 12 in our packet. And this is a mixture of addition and subtraction. So we can keep thinking about how addition and subtraction are opposites, they're inverse operations. So keep thinking about that to help us as we are doing our fact practice packet. Something you might want to do before you start when these are kind of all mixed together, you might want to circle the sign, circle the plus or minus before you start, especially if you're timing yourself. You might want to do that. I know for me, subtraction is usually a little trickier than addition. So I think I'm going to circle my minus signs to help me just be aware of when I am subtracting. There we go. Okay. All right. So our goal for our fact practice is to finish this in 1 or 2 minutes. If that is not too tricky for you, try 30 seconds. Or you might just want to try it without timing yourself. So if you've been timing yourself a lot, you might just want to take a break from that and mix it up a little bit. Let's see. Last time I did sort of a similar practice with adding and subtracting, and I did it in 34 seconds. Let's see. I wonder, it is a Monday. I'm feeling a little sleepy, but I wonder if I could beat my time. Let's go ahead and see how Miss Taylor's doing today. So I've got my little stopwatch here, and we'll see how I do. All right, now, before I start, I know I've mentioned this before. Anytime I'm subtracting, I'm actually looking at, I know this is my whole number, right? Here's my whole number is 7. I know I'm subtracting one of the parts. And so this other part is what I'm trying to find, the missing part. So whenever I'm subtracting, I'm actually thinking about addition. I'm thinking about 6 plus what gets me up to 7. Okay, or like this one, I'm thinking about 3 plus what gets me up to 9. Now you don't need to do that. That just kind of makes more sense for my brain. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, so I figured that might happen. I'm a little bit sleepier today, so I've got about 37, it's pretty close to 38 seconds. So I'm going to say today I finished this in 38 seconds. And then, and you can go ahead if you want to try with me, you could pause the video and you see how well you do with your facts. And then after, we're going to check our work quickly. So it really helps our brain if we can check right away, how did we do? So I'm going to check 1, 12, 6, 4, 11. 1, 12, 6, 4, 11. 17, 1, 6, 5, 8. 17, 1, 6, 5, 8. Okay, looks like I'm doing pretty well so far. 2, 4, 12, 14. I thought for sure I'd have some mistakes because it's kind of mixed with adding and subtracting. All right, well, okay, so that is our fact practice for today. And let's get on to our lesson. So, our lesson for today, we are going to learn about renaming twice. So, we have talked about what happens when we have too many ones in the ones place, what happens when we have too many tens in the tens place. So we've done some renaming in each of those places, some regrouping or renaming. But now today, oh, actually, we're going to look at page 43. We're going to look at what happens when we have to rename twice. Ooh. So we are going to look at page 43 at the bottom and number 15. So let me zoom in a little bit for us here. So if we have a number like this one, 248 plus 75. So here they're showing us how to do our vertical algorithm. And that is when we line up the ones digits and the tens digits and the hundreds digits. And then they're showing us what we do. So this one is step one. We add the ones. So we always start in the ones place. We always start at the top. So we have 8 plus 5. And 8 plus 5, well, let's see. I know 5 plus 5 makes 10. And I know 8 is made up of a 5 and a 3. So this is going to be 13. But we can't put 13 in the ones place, can we? No, that's too many. So they're showing us on our place value chart what that looks like. So here's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they've put all the ones together. Now what they're doing is we can think of this 8 plus 5 as 1 10 and 3 ones. So if I had those out, my little pieces here, if I had 13 ones, let's make sure that's the same. Let's see. So now I have 1, 2, oops, you can't see those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, here's my 13 ones. So just like they have them over here, I have them right here. But we can't put all 13 of these in the ones place because we can only put a one-digit number here. So what we can do is rename this as 1 10 and 3 ones. So what I'm going to do here, here's my 13. I'm going to take out a 10 and I'm going to rename it. We can pretend we're doing a little magic here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, here's my 10 ones and I'm going to do a little magic. Ta-da! Whoop. Here we go. Now I'm not really doing magic, am I? It's the same thing. 10 ones is the same as 1 10. So this is what they're putting here. They're putting 1 10 and then 3 ones. And what that looks like is just like this, right? So there's our 3 ones, 1, 2, 3, and there's our 1 10. Now what I like to ask you to do, students, is to circle your renaming because this is something, that little 1 up there is something that students often forget. And then they move over to the tens place and then they say, oh, well, let me add the tens. And then they move over here and they think, okay, I finished the ones place. Now I move into the tens place. Now I've got 7 plus 4 makes 11. And then they rename 11 instead of, whoops, that little teeny tiny 1 there. So I do ask you to circle it just to really help our brains to remember it and to see it. So in the tens place, we have 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 more is 12. And we can see that here. Here's our 12 tens. So if we have 12 of these tens, let's see if I can take some of my tens out. My yellow tens here. All right, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there's my 12 tens. So again, we're in the tens place here. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 more is 12. Now we can't put 12 in the tens place because we can only put one digit. So let's go ahead and take 10 of these and rename it as 100. Because we know, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Because we know 10 tens is the same as 100. So we could do a little magic. 10 tens is the same as 100. All right. Now again, not really magic. They're actually the same thing, but we're just giving it a different name. So 10 tens is the same as 100. So now this is what we've got. We've got our 100, so we put that 1 above the hundreds place, and then we've got our 2 tens left over. And there we put our 2 tens, and then our 1 and our 2 go in the hundreds place. All right, and the final step, we move over here, and we're going to add the hundreds. So we have 2 hundreds. And again, I would circle that 1 so we really see it. 2 hundreds plus 100 looks like this, and we get 300. So that is how we rename twice. So what I would like for you to do today is to do a little practice on the next page, on page 44. And in fact, let's go ahead and do one more together, and then you can do a little bit of practice on page 44. And then you can kind of check your work with Miss Taylor's paper before you do your homework. And that is a good way for you to see, oh, do I understand what I'm doing, or do I need to kind of go back and fix it before I do my whole page of homework? So let's do this one together. So we have, zoom out a little bit for us here. We have 237 plus 184. All right. And I'd like to draw that arrow to help us to make sure we remember we always start in the ones place and we always start at the top. I also like to draw lines to separate. And you could also do your hundreds, tens, and ones. Although sometimes I like to, when I'm renaming, kind of like to erase those so that I can really see my renaming. Okay, so in the ones place, we have 7 plus 4. And I know 7 plus 3 is 10. So 7 plus 4 is 11. Wait a second. Can I put 11 down here in the ones place? Nope. I can only put a 1-digit number here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 10 of these and rename it as 110 and 11. Now let's pause here a minute. Do I still have 11? Is 7 plus 4 still 11? Yes, because remember this 1 now stands for 10 because we put it in the tens place, and then there's our 1. So 10 and 1, we still have 11. We're just giving it a different name. So yes, we still have 11. There we go. Let's go to the tens place. Now we have 8 plus 3. Let's see, I know 8 plus 2 makes 10. So 8 plus 3 is going to be 11, plus 1 more is 12. Can I put 12 tens? Can I put 12 tens here? A bunch of tens? No, it's too many. I can't put 12 tens here. So what we're going to do is we're going to rename again. So now I'm going to take 10 tens and I'm going to rename it as 100. Circle it. Now, this is what we're doing. Now, do we still have 12 tens? Oh, wait a second. 12 tens is the same as, you know what 12 tens is the same as? 12 tens is the same as 120. Did you say 120? And just add a 0 to the number. So 12 tens is the same as 120. Do we still have 120? Let's see. 100, 10, 20. Yep, 120 is the same as 12 tens. So again, we haven't changed anything. We're just giving it a different name. So here, just going to eraser. There we go. We have 2. So we have 2 tens left over. There's our 2 tens. And then we rename this as 100. Okay, now we can go to the hundreds place. 100 plus 2 hundreds is 3 hundreds, plus 1 more is 4 hundreds. And that is how we do it, and we rename twice. So please remember when you are working on your renaming to circle your renaming. And that really helps us to make sure that we are not forgetting to add that renaming, because a really common mistake is to forget to add this. All right. I think I'm going to pause for now because my video is getting a little bit long, but I wanted to mention that there's a couple of word problems here that it would be a really prudent idea for you to practice these. And I will show you on my paper how you can kind of go through and do all the steps. So it kind of looks a little bit like this. And when you're doing your steps, remember we draw a little line to separate. We do our who and what over here. In the middle is our unit bar or our number bond or both. And then over to the side here is where we work our computation. And you can see I've kind of set this up for you, but I haven't finished it. So you can go ahead and see if you can finish number 18 and 19. And then our homework for today is, let's take a look at our homework for today. Oh, and remember you can use your steps to solve a word problem as kind of a nice little bookmark for us. It's always a nice idea. And let's see, our homework for today is pages, oops, I'm a little bit ahead of myself here. Pages 52 to 54. So today we have 3 pages of homework. Now, because today is a little bit more than usual, usually we just have 1 page or maybe 2 pages. Today we have 3 pages. Oh, Miss Taylor, 3 pages. So on this last page, you do not need to do all of the steps. Normally, I would ask you to try to do some of these steps, especially a unit bar or number bonds. If you would like to, you totally can. But because we have a little bit more to do today, it's going to be optional to do your steps. But yeah, that is your homework for today. Before we go, one thing that is a prudent idea, again, is to draw your lines to separate. And that way we won't get kind of mixed up when we're adding all these numbers. And then when you're doing your first page, let's do this real quick together. Let's see. We have 3 plus 7, and that's 10. But I can't put a 10 there, so I'm going to rename it as 110, 0 ones. All right. And then I'm going to move over to my tens place. See, I have 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 1 more is 12. But I can't put a 12 here, but I can rename that as 100, 2 tens. And then finally I can do my hundreds. I can put a 0 there if that helps me. And then 100 plus 700s is 800s. And then I can take a look at my answer and come down here to check. And it says match each letter with an animal to check the answers. Let's see. Oh, good. I found an animal that has the answer. So maybe we could just put, let's see, doesn't really tell us what to do here. Maybe just a little check, or maybe we just put a C by it. Oh, that makes sense. C for crocodile. And then we could give ourselves a little check mark or something, or a little star, like, yep, I checked it. Okay, so that is how you do this page. And again, please remember to circle your renaming. That will help you so that you don't make, so that you don't forget to add it, I guess. So thank you, mathematicians. I will see you again soon. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.